Hello, my lovely Aries. This is your horoscope for May 2025. First half of May, we will have a bit of a bumpy ride, but then second half of May will be amazing one. Now, my dear Aries, seems like you will be focused on your finances in general, and there are huge things happening in your sign, in your first house, never before happening. Venus, planet of love and beauty, connecting with Neptune, such a dreamy planet, planet of manifestation, imagination, all things artistic, in your first house. Ever since, Neptune was never before in your sign. I don't know, since what? Last time it was in your sign, it was back in 19th century. And now all the planets that will pass through your sign will meet up with Neptune. This is amazing energy, sort of new energy, new vibration. We're gonna all feel it, and you specifically the most. And it's happening at first degree. Now, first degree of the first sign of the zodiac, it's monumental, something new door is opening. And that door, something new, is beautiful because Venus and Neptune, they are both about art, about love, about compassion, and you might actually have a new life or new perspective on who you want to become, for example, for yourself. Or you might sense a new direction to your career, to your life in general, and whatever situation you're in. You might sort of figure out what you want in life. This is amazing connection between Venus and Neptune in your first house. Plus, Neptune rules your house of spirituality, and Venus rules your house of values. Maybe you will value now more your spiritual side, and you will pursue careers that are related to spirituality, like astrology, tarot cards, numerology, these kind of things. Or you will have a chance also meet someone special who will gonna stay forever, possibly in your life. Like, that unconditional love. Neptune rules unconditional love. And Venus is a love planet, and plus Venus rules in your natal chart marriage house, my dear Aries. Seems like there will be a moment on 2nd of May when these two planets conjunct, that around this date you might meet someone special or feel the pull, to someone who is already within your reach, let's say. But mostly, probably you will have to travel somewhere, maybe on a vacation, near water, near sea, or in the jungles, because Neptune rules this kind of far places in your natal chart. So you might meet someone who will become very important in your life. This is an amazing one. Now, May 4th, we have Pluto going retrograde. Pluto is a planet of transformation, deep transformation, and Pluto rules your money house, and it's going retrograde, meaning slowing down. Now, Pluto will be sort of a half asleep motion, but nonetheless, it's not that it will stop influencing us, but it will send you to the journey to looking back. And plus, Pluto, newly is in your 8th house of money. Not 8th house of money, 11th house of friendships. It rules your 8th house of money. So now it's newly found home, 11th house, and it will retrograde there. And it's moving so slow. Pluto is one of the slow moving planets that, since it entered your 11th house, it just moved until 3 degrees, 3rd degree of your 11th house. So now it will move backwards from 3rd degree to the first one. So if you have planets in Aquarius or even in your sign, those of you who are born right in the beginning of Aries season, until third degree, like if you have any other planets or placements, basically in any zodiac sign too, but specifically if it's your sun, beginning born like Aries season. So you will feel this Pluto retrograde the most. Pluto will sort of iron out back and forth this time, and it will be retrograding until October 14th. No, until October 14th, sort of it will be slow and showing you some things that you will need to rework, go through transformations, especially related to your friendship zone. Maybe your old friendships will come back, knocking on your door, helping for financial help, for example, or you might need to help someone financially, or you would want to donate some money. It's about donations, this 11th house, and Pluto rules your money house. Seems like a lot of you guys might think of establishing maybe some sort of foundation or sort of financial help or institutions, if you are in that position, or just donating some clothes, and in general, getting rid of the things that you don't need anymore, sort of thing, but for the good. Now, 11th house is also house of friendships. A lot of you guys might clean up your friendship zone, to say the least. Like, you might change, or you might go back, you might start again speaking or communicating with someone with whom you've been friends before, like closer before, but for one or another reason you stopped talking, for example. And this situation will last until October 14th. 11th house is also house of future. It's your wishes and dreams, and a lot of you guys might go into deep sort of redirection motion of your future, of your plans for your future, of what you want to achieve, what kind of achievable, let's say, plans you have, and in general, the direction of your life, my dear Aries. On May 12th, we have, as I said, because beginning of May a bit bumpy, and because of this full moon that we have on May 12th, and it's a bit of a difficult full moon happening in your house of money at 22nd degree. Now, those of you who are born 11th of April, plus or minus 5 days, you will feel this full moon the most. Now, full moons are about conclusions. They bring sharp, sudden conclusions, especially this one. Why sudden? Because Uranus, planet of surprises, will oppose it directly. Harshly oppose this tender full moon, meaning it will be on opposite sides, conjunct with sun, but will opposing the moon. Now, Uranus is, notorious when it comes to surprises and shocking revelations, situations, and you might encounter such. Maybe there will be some sort of sharp, all of a sudden ending to, and you won't expect this news. Like, for example, that you've been 100% sure that, let's say, that you apply to a bank loan and you're gonna get that, but the news won't be so positive around this full moon. Or it might be related to scholarship. If you're a student, you might lose that scholarship all of a sudden, as an example. For example, you start working and they found out that you're working, and then they stop providing you with scholarship because Uranus is in your second house, house of income. Seems like money, you have the money, but at the same time, you will need to give up some part of help, money that is coming to your pocket and that you're not earning, but coming as a help or as some sort of financial, funding. Or if you're in business, one of your investors or one of your business partners might quit unexpectedly, might withdraw their funds, and it might leave you in a situation of let's say depression or sadness, because this news will hit unexpectedly, my dear Aries. Now, and it could be one of your friends too, for example, or your friend's situation could be this way, because Uranus rules your house of friendships, my dears. Now, at this full moon, we will have a help, sort of Saturn and North Node. And North Node is, in your second house. Sorry, not in your 12th house. 12th house is a house of past. They are both situated close to each other, and they will try to help this full moon against this harsh Uranus, because they will be sending trine aspect, amazing aspect, plus trying to mitigate with Uranus, sending to Uranus also a little bit of a support, trying to make it milder. Now, in general, this full moon situation, it's sort of like a destiny, but then at that moment, you won't be feeling most probably that it's for benefit, like that it's for good. But in the long run, you will see whatever will happen around this full moon, like it would be going in the right direction. In the long run, you're going to see that this thing was beneficial. But for time being, probably you won't feel that way. Anyhow, I call it sort of something abruptly finishing, but something for good. This news will be very sudden, very sharp, like thunderstone. Uranus rules thunders also. And it sort of hit unexpectedly. Now, 8th house is also house of conception, like babies, conceiving babies. Now, if you are in that situation, this might be happy news for you. But if you were not, I'd say, trying to avoid pregnancy, then this might news also hit you as a surprise that you might be pregnant, for example. Or around this full moon, you might give birth to, in general, because it's 8th house. So this full moon is happening and it's culmination. So like you are taking your baby to your hand, let's say. Ruler of this full moon, let's look at the ruler, what it's doing. Pluto, planet of transformation. Now it will make a harsh also square to Mercury. Sort of Mercury and Pluto will be in a bad communication with each other, and Mercury rules communication. Mercury is situated in your house of money, and Pluto is situated in your future house and friendship house. Now, for some of you guys, it might be the situation will be involving one friend, or for some of you guys, it will be it might be about your future plans, that there won't be enough finances, Or, for example, let's say you got a job offer, but then the money that they're going to pay won't be satisfying, won't be enough, let's say. And it won't be as you expected, let's say. So if you are planning to sign the contract, read it through. I advise you to send it to your lawyer or someone who is in position to help you to navigate the contract details, the deal that you're going to make there around this full moon. It seems like you're going to be doing so, or even if it's also related to bank loans or any financial situation, because this full moon for you guys will involve money, sort of financial situation here. Or you might need to spend, all of a sudden, like taxes, for example. You might need to pay something, and that will come as unexpected news, as an example. Now, 8th house is also such a mystical house. Now, for some of you guys, it might be involving completely spiritual side of life, and your values might be shifting. You might experience sort of an event which will shift your values. Like, for example, what you value the most in you, is it your family or friendships, or maybe your time or money or business? So something profoundly here happening abruptly, all of a sudden, like a thunderstorm, and changing your perspective to life. You might go, to therapy, or like consult with astrologer, for example, or numerologer, or something like you would want to maybe try to find some solution through this kind of a spiritual side of life, let's say. And for some of you guys, it will be health matter, because 8th house is also about healing, is about our well-being. And here news might hit again very sudden. that you might need, maybe require some sort of checkups or go through some analysis or even surgery. But no worries, because Saturn and North Node, like Destiny Node, they are helping. They are trying to help and navigate, whole situation here. May 25, we have big thing going on here. Saturn, planet of restriction, planet of work. We call Saturn, I call Saturn as our strict teacher of our universe, and it brings lessons. Now, Saturn is moving into your first house, into your sign, my dear Aries. Saturn, like, long hasn't been in your sign. It takes roughly 29 years to get back to your sign. So its rotation is, so you see, period is 29 years. Now, if you are at that age, you might want to recall how was the life back like 29 years ago. Now Saturn is back into your sign, and it will stay until September 1st. And sort of will give you preview, sort of trailer, will prep you, of what it's going to bring into your life. So take notes, try to be aware of what's happening with this Saturn in your first house, what kind of events are going on around, people are changing. You will see sharp, you will notice definitely this Saturn in your first house, and then it will come back into your sign on February 14th. Now, Valentine's Day next year, 2026, and it will stay for 3 years. Now, 3 years Saturn will be touring your sign, checking up if you've done your homework. Sort of. Now, Saturn, no need to be scared of Saturn. Saturn also can give, in general, Saturn likes to leave some sort of gifts when it's going out of your sign. But before, it's just checking up on you if you are on the right position, right path, according to your destiny, sort of. Now, Saturn, it's ruler of your 10th house. And Saturn stays roughly for 3 years. And 10th house, it's about career. It's about direction of your life, my dear Aries. And seems like, coming into your first house, it will remind you what is your life path, career-wise, where are you heading? Like, what are you doing in terms of your vacation, for example? In terms of your, in general, life calling, like work calling, what are you doing? And if you think, like, if your situation that you've been working and at the same time hating your job and trying to quit, and Saturn comes in and it sees this situation, it will, destroy. Saturn has this tendency to destroy whatever is not built on a solid foundation. So what you need to think of is about solid foundation that you enjoy, that you like it, that is yours. And if that is your situation, that everything is perfect, Saturn, even you might not even feel Saturn, it might even reward you for your hard work and dedication to your true space and to your true calling, let's say, and activities that you're doing. But if there is something that you wanted to change already for a long time, now Saturn comes along and that's it. It destroys it, takes it down, tears apart. So be ready with that. And it mostly can be about your social status too. Now, for some areas, it might be about career, but for all of you guys, it might be all of these things, because it will gradually in 3 years will tear apart. And your career wise, like, it will just check upon you, actually, your career situation, your social status. 10th house is about social status, like marriage. If that marriage isn't strong, if that marriage had already let's say a broken piece, it will break it. And Saturn might make you realize that this is not the person. You've been realizing this, but somehow, probably for some one or another reason, you are reluctant to make some steps to changes, and Saturn comes in and makes it for you. Now, you will have the preview, as I said, from May 25th until September 1st. So better to raise your awareness. What is going on? How do you feel? And in general, these slow moving planets, when they move from sign to sign, they are the most effective. Let's say we feel them the most, and life changes, big life changes, they usually happen exactly when these planets they are back and forth, between the two signs. So now Saturn, by the end of May, there might be something big going on in your life, in your those areas that I mentioned, or also in September too, and also in 2026 on Valentine's Day. Now, 10th house is also house of your father. If you say it's not about me, then I don't feel anything, then it might be about your father's life. Or in his life, something profound will be going on, like completely changing. Now, May 27, we have new moon. This one is sweet, sugar sweet, amazing one. Seems like universe, after giving hard lessons whole April and May, it will reward us with amazing new moon. And new moon will happen in your house of communication. Now, those of you who are born 26th of March, plus or minus 5 days, you will feel this new moon the most. You will benefit from this the most, but of course, all of us will. Now, because this new moon is hitting 6th degree, and this new moon will conjunct Mercury, ruler of the new moon. It's an amazing one. And Pluto, planet of transformation, will send trine to that new moon. It's amazing aspect, like one of the best aspects. And Pluto is situated in your house of hopes and wishes. Now, this new moon sort of really support from destiny, because and Saturn and Neptune, they also will input their efforts. They will support ruler of the new moon. They will send amazing beams to Mercury from your first house. Now, this Saturn and Neptune, they are in your sign for the first time since, I don't know, long years. And Saturn rules your 10th house. Neptune, there's like a huge reset for you, seems like, with this Saturn and Neptune in your first house. After so long years, you might feel very new self, you might sense some new life, let's say. And Pluto will show you the direction, even recognition. Some of you guys might get sort of achievements or titles or nominations, let's say, in the area of media. If that is your area, let's say, social media, you might get recognized. You might get popular with this new moon. If that is your wish, you might expand your followers, for example. And quite a lot of people might start reaching out also. And it seems like your circle, like friendship circle, is expanding because Pluto is in your 11th house and it's sending amazing beam to new moon, which is in your 3rd house. Both these houses are about social circles with whom you communicate, and it's expanding like, I don't know, apple tree. Sort of big, huge community. You might sort of wake up with this kind of community all of a sudden, for example. And Saturn and Neptune will make sure that you will be the star because they are in your 1st house. Now, for some of you guys, it might be related to travel. You might, by the end of May, travel somewhere where you're gonna stay for a long time, where you wanted to visit, for example. And so it's not somewhere far, somewhere under 3 hours, but still you will love it, my dear Aries. The 3rd house is also about siblings. If you say, in my life nothing's happening, then it might be about your siblings, like brothers and sisters. They might become a star, like social media star, for example, or they might get recognized for their efforts in the past years, like winning the nominations, titles, some achievements, getting sort of recognition, because 11th house is all about harvesting the results, my dears. Now, and lastly, I would just like to mention that Venus is blessing your sign whole month. This is amazing one. Now, dear Aries, you will be shining stars during whole May, making you star. You know, we all love when Venus in our sign because Venus is planet of beauty. It makes us charming. It makes us attractive. Like when we enter the room, we gather all these eyes, you know, on us. Everyone is looking at us. It's amazing, a sweet spotlight. It makes you convince, you know, anyone into anything. So use this power if you need, but be mindful. Now Venus is, you know, a planet of love and beauty, and you will have this power to charm anyone on your way. Amazing one. Now, and I would also add, just by this new moon, which is at the end, you might actually buy a car. If you've been wishing, then that is your green light, my dear Aries. This will be amazing new moon to buy a new transportation, to reset the button, or maybe to learn a new language, like sort of new skills. You know, new moon is new energy, and it's in your skills house, like languages house. It's about communication. So expand, you know, say what you want to say to the whole world, and the world will listen. This is the message of new moon, my dear Aries. Always check your rising sign and moon sign. They might resonate, all three actually, and also sun sign. Love you all. Bye bye.